Joining us now to discuss student loan forgiveness is Dan Geltrude, who is the founder and managing partner of Geltrude and Company, and also the author of Positive Financial Karma. Thanks for coming on the show, Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. The White House and an economist at Upjohn Institute say that about a third of people with student loans have debt, but no degree. Does this justify their decision to cancel the debt?
Well, I think in the big picture here, you have to look at who are the winners and who are the losers. Now, the winners are clearly those who are going to have their debt forgiven, and also the colleges and the universities, because this just lends itself for them to be able to charge more. Of course, who ends up paying the bill? American taxpayers. So that's really how this plays out, and I think that you really have to look at what the problem is, not just this Band-Aid for giving a certain group of people some economic relief.
So, Dan, what are your solutions to this problem?
Well, I think the first thing that you have to do here is you have to educate these students about what this debt means. And I say no one should be eligible to take out a student loan unless they complete some type of educational course which explains how this debt really works and that you're going to have to pay it back. The next thing is how about these colleges and universities who have no skin in the game? It's the federal government that's guaranteeing the loans. The colleges get paid no matter what. So I say that the colleges and the universities have to be participatory in some way with these loans. Let them experience some of the potential bad debt, meaning students perhaps not being able to pay that money back. I also think that you put something attached to majors. You have people out there that are majoring in certain areas, and not that there's anything wrong with education and what they want to learn, but it puts them in a position where they're going to go out and have a career in that area. They're never going to be able to pay that loan back. So you have to take a look at whether the loan makes sense. And then finally, I would say, these colleges and universities have been upping their tuition far beyond the cost of inflation, right? So you set something up where it says if you're going to charge more than the rate of inflation, no federal assistance in any way. So I think if you put some of those plans in place, you could start to address the real problem, which is college is simply too expensive.
So, Dan, you covered a lot of ground there. You talked about educating these young minds who are taking out these loans. What principles are we teaching these young borrowers if we allow their loans to be forgiven?
Well, exactly. So, that sets it up to say, well, I'm going to take all these loans and maybe I won't have to pay it back. And that's not the real world. Everybody at some point in time ends up taking loans for whatever the reason: education, cars, house, whatever they need. Well, you can't assume taking out debt that it's just going to be forgiven. That's not really the real world, except in this particular case. So I think it sets a bad precedent all the way around.
And you also mentioned that taxpayers are going to be the ones footing the bill. Can you explain how this happens, whether it's through inflation or more taxes?
Well, ultimately, anytime the government is in effect giving money away, in this case in the form of forgiving debt, somebody's got to pay that debt, right? So the federal government doesn't have any of its own money. They have taxpayer money. So when they spend it, or if they're forgiving debt, that's all the money that's been collected by taxpayers. In order to pay the federal debt, you have to collect more taxes. So that simply means that people are going to have to pay more taxes to be able to cover that forgiveness.
Well, thank you for helping us understand some of this cause and effect here. Dan Geltrude, founder and managing partner of Geltrude and Company, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.